this is your July 2023 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is your reading for the month ahead. It's Romy. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to the channel. I really appreciate the support. You can also make sure you're subscribed, drop me a like and a comment if the reading resonates. So we're opening up with the energy of death for you for this month. And I suppose the question that is being posed here is, are you willing to go there? Because there's a recognition that some sort of a situation needs to be addressed, needs to be transformed. And you are incredibly supported cosmically by the universe right now. And yet you may feel torn, like you don't have all of the knowledge, information, or even the experience that's required to be able to sort of feel more confident about moving in this direction. But ultimately it is going to act as such a powerful catalyst for an energetic shift that you have been feeling into for some time and really ready for on many levels, although the discomfort of change and transformation that can come through with this energy isn't always the easiest to deal with either. Now, July is one of these months where, you know, there's a lot of heart healing going on, and we're having the opportunity to face things and to really explore things in a much more intimate way. We also have a lot of nuisance interfering type of energy. The astrological climate just feels like there's a continuous series of road bumps or blocks that are sort of coming into, you know, our pathway, and that can feel deeply frustrating. But at the same time, the slowdown that it brings really helps you to come to terms with how you truly feel about something, so that you're not bypassing. And I do want to say to you, Aries, that when you know something is worth waiting for, and I think you are waiting for something, when you know it's worth waiting for, then it can dissolve some of that impatience and some of that frustration. And you're being encouraged through the course of this month to really use your time in other ways, you know, that can support you, enlighten you, balance you, because the things that you've set into motion, that you've been investing towards, like, they're on their way, but for, you know, reasons of divine order and destiny, it might just not be quite ready to show up through the course of July. Now, the Six of Pentacles is saying here that, you know, we are really navigating this month with a sense of give and take. And I have a feeling like as we approach this full moon in Capricorn, right? And of course, it lights up that 10th house for you. There's this sense of how you want to make your way in the world. There might be, for some of you, some particularly sensitive notes coming in around that time connected to career, your work, and perhaps around recognition, lack of progress, lack of results. And yet there's something that sort of lands for you around that time as well, that I feel the revelations are going to have you connecting the dots. And it's not just pertaining to career. I think that there's something wider here that's being shown to you. And as you do connect the dots, you may realize that something's been active for much longer than you thought. That might come as a bit of shock or surprise, but at the same time can be quite cathartic, because now you know. And when you know, then you're more informed to make a decision that's going to support your well-being moving forward. I do think there is support coming, and I feel that the support, you need to remember to ask. I know it sounds kind of really straightforward, but there's just this sense of you at times sort of trying to do it alone or go it alone. And the Seven of Swords, perhaps not sharing everything that you're dealing with, everything that's on your plate. And so people are misunderstanding or misreading what it is that you need from them right now, or what is truly sort of unfolding in your world. There's also this sense that, you know, you're holding on to something. The Seven of Swords is such a complex energy for us to work with, and it's really revealing in terms of the patterns that it shows up within the relationship we have to ourselves, but also to other people. So, you know, there's patterns that are in existence here that are proving to be more harmful than helpful, but the reason that they're being shown so significantly through the course of this month is so that you have that opportunity for healing. Now, as we make our way towards the 9th and the 10th, we're going to see Pallas Athena, asteroid goddess, shifting into the sign of Virgo. And then the following day, Mars, your ruler, moves into the sign. This is going to help you create a new strategy, perhaps one that you need to work on behind the scenes before you're ready to share, but it will help bring about a more considered and a more thoughtful sort of approach to sort of help balance you out as you have to navigate and negotiate some important things through the course of this month. I also feel around that time it's like your unsubscribe button is like your greatest tool, not just online. It's literally where you are unplugging and pulling back from people and energies and situations that are just not adding anything. And in fact, never mind not adding, they're actually just causing chaos or disruption or interference for you. And so you're quite ruthless in how you might be sort of going about just this clearing and stripping out. But what it's doing is really helping you to reclaim time, energy, and space. And that's important because it's very easy with that 7 to end up like self-sabotaging situations because we get too connected or caught up in other people's projections, and then we start to doubt ourselves, and that uncertainty kind of takes root. And so it's an interesting month where it just feels like we're being given that full spectrum of human emotion, and as the waves come in, we have to ride them and not let ourselves feel like we're drowning under them. 10 of Swords and Death is really sort of indicative here that something is coming to this point of finality and closure. You don't really have an awful lot of influence and control in regards to this. And so sometimes we just have to sit in an energy of acceptance. And whether you're choosing this or whether it feels abrupt and something that, you hadn't expected or anticipated, you're going to need some space to just breathe and to reflect on all of the events and the circumstances that have brought you to this point. What you cannot yet see is that this ultimately puts you on the path to growth rather than keeping you on a path of safety. So you have to give it time, because this unfolding is going to show its true value and its merit and its treasure over the next few weeks. And, it's all right, even if it's something that you asked for and you wanted and you are supposed to feel happy about, to kind of have this whole myriad of different emotions that might be going on. It's a process, it's a process. So, big news, of course, we have the North Node coming into your sign on the 17th of the month, same day as the new moon in Cancer, 25 degrees. Obviously, this really supporting the highest expression of your destiny and just feeling actually around this time of the month quite fearless and unafraid to make it happen. And there's something that clicks for you. It just changes. And if you've been on the fence, if you've been contemplating, is this the right decision? Is this the right path for me? Is this the right person? Like whatever it is that you've had that uncertainty over, there is something landing around that time, this reset of the new moon, along with the opportunity to sort of realize you've come full circle with things and knowing very, very definitively what you want to devote your time, energy, and attention to. It can cause some conflict because immediately once that happens, there's just like this drive and energy to then want to, be all in and sort of move off in that direction immediately. And, again, like I said, the climate of this month is one where we're sort of being pushed and pulled and having to go back over. And all of these retrograde energies are about resolution. So they are taking us back over things or bringing us back into the pathway of people or situations, so that we can find healing and ultimately growth. And that's necessary so that you can then fully embrace this destined sort of calling that you feel is really pulling you. But it might again cause that sort of sense of just feeling like, why am I being given this and then being blocked from it at the same time? So it's just almost like, again, back to that give and take. In one hand, I'm receiving this beautiful gift, and then something's been taken away from me that stops me from enjoying it or receiving it in a way that, is how I envisaged it should be. So we have to just kind of go with the flow as much as we can through the course of this month. And as you give yourself some space and that airtime, you will be able to start reflecting on, it's almost like everything is in flux through this month, yeah? And as everything's thrown up in the air, we just have to wait till some of these things land to sort of see the lay of the land, if you like. The lovers here are showing a deep bond and intimacy, and yet with some of the energies surrounding it here, we may see that something is off in terms of the give and take, the reciprocity going on here. We may feel that either you or another person is holding back or being disingenuous, or you just don't have the full picture of things. There may feel like there needs to be an ending, a separation or a breakdown in order to have a breakthrough. And Venus retrograde, we understand, is going to be really, bringing that sort of a thing to our door. At the same time, as challenging as that transit can be, it can also bring about beautiful blessings where we have invested and done the work, perhaps bringing us back into contact with somebody and realizing the changes, and now knowing that this is the right time to make it work and be able to move forward. And not just even on a romantic level. There's also a big emphasis, of course, when we work with Venus energy in retrograde around improving and dealing with our prosperity consciousness, our money story. And so how secure you feel through the course of this month, which feels, if I'm totally honest, a little disruptive. Yeah. But at the same time, again, the wise choices that you're making, even when you don't feel particularly empowered as much as you would like to, are still going to act as the key that's going to open a door to something really quite auspicious for you. And I think there's a recognition coming through the course of that month. The full moon Capricorn in the 10th will also highlight. So yes, you might feel the lack or some sense of needing to release what's holding you back from receiving the true recognition or success that you are deserved and entitled to. But at the same time, left field, it feels like there's also some surprising approaches, some profound respect that's coming your way for work that you've previously done or something that you were involved with some time ago. And so the validity of that seems like it comes back around again, and that's going to be a nice confidence boost for you, as it should. So Venus will station retrograde on the 22nd when the Sun moves into Leo in that 5th house for you. And here, we're really emphasizing the need to explore our relationship to pleasure and desire. And, we have two figures here again shown in the Three of Wands. What's interesting is, the one figure is sort of holding out her hand, and yet the figure here is sort of almost more caught up or focused on something else, I feel. And so again, there might just be some challenges to be navigating in those close, intimate relationships that you're going through as you try to figure out what the horizon looks like, where you're heading, what that vision is, and whether you can actually get on board and have that shared outlook of the things that are important to you, especially if you find yourself in a readiness to kind of really do something new or try something new. It's about trying to ensure that you get that support of the people that are nearest and dearest to you. The thing we also need to be mindful of, Chiron goes retrograde on the 23rd. It sort of hits that Achilles heel. And what we come to realize is, we're not just dealing with our own healing, which is challenging enough in any given moment, and the triggers and the wounds that come with that, but we're also dealing with the wounds of the person that we're connected to in a relationship with. And again, not just romantically, this is within family dynamics, friendships, with people at work. So constantly the actions, the reactions, the energetic dynamic that's playing out is, deeply rooted in each individual kind of going through this healing process, and at times healing chaos and crises. And, as we work with these two transits side by side, they're certainly coalescing in a way that can sort of create that type of intense and at times quite painful and overly sensitive environment, which means that people will take things to heart way, way more than they ordinarily would, which you may well be on the receiving end or indeed feeling into as people project or say things that feel incredibly blunt towards you through the course of this month. The Three of Wands, however, also indicates to me that you have this sort of expanding view of what is possible. And again, where you may have felt limited or held back, that Ten of Swords is, even though at times, you know, can come in quite harshly and challenge, you know, even where we're sitting in our own victim energy, or bringing something to that abrupt end. It also is the thing that can truly liberate and set us free. And once that happens, I think, you know, this is where you just get to devote entirely to something that perhaps you've wanted to for such a long time. And, you know, there may be alongside this a sense of a little bit of productive pressure, but you know what, that might help you just get over the procrastination or deal with any fallout or upset that, you know, this has caused, and just kind of channel some of that energy into something way more productive, because the three for me is very generative. And as you invest in this, something is coming back to you. This is a month where we are really experiencing things coming full circle. And with that, you know, you're not alone here. You actually have support. Like I said, though, there is this sense of perhaps some over interference through the course of this month as people think that they know what's best for you, which means that you have to be quite deliberate and assertive and articulate in saying why you're doing what you're doing. Not because you have to justify it at all, but simply because it's going to make your life easier, because people will not make, you know, or come to their own conclusions about things, and then you're not going to have to, you know, go about trying to sort of constantly explain yourself. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, Aries, we cover the last three cards in our extended version of the reading. You can find a link in the comment and description box underneath. I'm going to go ahead and pull us some clarifying cards to see the direction we'll be taking that reading. We also cover off a personal question for you, and a relationship card as well to give you some advice. Okay, we have the Six of Wands coming through and the energy of the Tower. Pull one more there. Ace of Cups. Okay, so the extended reading, 25 to 30 minutes. The link is in the comment and description box below. It's a way to support my work, but also just to get deeper insights for the month ahead for you. You'll also find all the decks that I use listed below if you're new to the channel, Aries. Got some nice aces coming through here. Chariot, beautiful. Alongside the soul story, I also create monthly soul meditations, and this month we are doing heart healing. We're also focused around navigating solar flare energy, so if you're particularly sensitive to that, that'll be a worthwhile journey to explore. Again, links are below. Quite like that Magician, Page of Pentacles coming through there. So we've got King of Wands, we've got another energy of the Lovers, also links into the sign of Gemini, Queen of Pentacles. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull the Oracle cards. This is Life Soul Vision. Again, if you're new to the channel and you haven't already checked out my deck, you will see it over on my website. Got the box here along with my book Moon Musings, just a collection of my poetry, my downloads and transmissions to support you with your moon rituals and all your soul work. Okay, we have Full Moon, Soulful Surrender. We've got Throat Energy, Energetic Expression. I'm so happy to see that for you. Honesty at the Edge of Quiet. We just need to have those hard conversations. Like I said, are you willing to go there? I think you've got no choice. Okay, that flipped over, so that's fine. I think you will surprise people. I think perhaps you've been sort of not threatening, but kind of saying, you know, maybe there's just been multiple chances given. But you have been saying, like, for a while, like, this is coming, this is happening, like, if this doesn't change, this is where I'm going, this is what's going to unfold. And, you know, maybe they just never really took you seriously. Well, I think you're about to show them this month. Okay, we've got the energy of storm. And let's have a look at the goddess cards for you. We'll look at these messages in the extended, Aries. You have Artemis, focus, beautiful. I am tenacious and unwavering in my intention. I love that affirmation for you this month. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you find this helpful. I will continue this cosmic conversation if you are joining me over on the extended. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you again next time.